right, all right. Sorry we're a little late today. Punkwaddle showed up like on time, and I was just milling about. The Punkwaddle, he is here, as you can see. He's just getting a slight drink because we will be talking about today's matchup. As if you've seen the thumbnail, you noticed that we are doing uh, a battle in the stars. We're actually, and since um It's it's uh it's about two franchises, both very space drama, war-like. Um, we will do the vehicle battle. It's going to be a vehicle battle, just because Star Wars, it has a lot of good vehicle fighting vehicles in it. Um, and you know what? We might do one without vehicles too, but I kind of wanted to, just because Star Wars has a lot of great capital ships and starfighters, and Gundam has a lot of good ships and starfighters too, but most of the mobile suits, which are different. Um,
Yes,
Puckwater,
man.
what would you say the difference between a, a normal starfighter and a mobile suit in the Gundam franchise would be?
I mean, okay, so the word is their mobility mobile suit, right? So
Hmm.
so one of the biggest key differences is that say an X-wing or TIE fighter is going to be more akin to, I would say, like a core fighter in its maneuverability, its size. Although technically,
Yeah, a core
what were
fighter
the
or a
jets?
DOP, one of those
Yeah,
DOPs. Yep, yep.
what were the little jet fighters from the first Gundam that they had? Not core
Oh,
fighter, the planes,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
plane.
yeah. I'm forgetting what they're called too, but they were um
It's one of the original things that kind of showed up with the white base. That
yeah,
would be
yeah,
more akin to, say, a X-wing or a Tie fighter, especially because Tie fighters, they have the twin ion engine. I know it's in the name, but
yeah.
they call it out pretty well in several of the movies. That wait, those things can't those need a home base. They can't fly too far away. The same things, which ironically is kind of the way a Gundam in space is, because they only have so much energy and so many
Yeah.
resources that they have to go back to reload often, or
No, no,
you
you
know
can't fly from Site 7 to lunar base in in a uh in a mobile suit. That's just not happening. You need to have a ship with you.
like an X-wing or some of the rebel ones have, when they have the telemetry droids and such, they
Hmm.
can, some of them are equipped with the hyper, you can go into hyperspace and all that stuff, like when Luke traveled to Dagobah and all that. But like I said, still more maneuverability and still maybe a little more firepower than some of the TIE fighters. But
Mm.
when it comes to sheer mass, the mobile suit is much more of a on the ground or in the soiree sort of
Yep.
grunt armored vehicle. It's kind of like a much more. It's a tank on steroids in a lot of ways, right?
Well, in cases like the Zaku tank and the gun tank, it's literally a tank on steroids. So,
Right.
yes, yes. So yeah, that's kind of why in my story I included the white base and home one.
Okay.
Um, just because you kind of need somewhere to launch out. So you know what I mean. So so
Sure.
I had a little ship on ship battle, and on that point, what do you want to say about the ships in Gundam, and if you know so much or if you know anything about the ships in Star Wars as well? Um,
Well, to be fair, like I definitely know of the ships. Like Gundam, obviously the white base was, you had Bright Noah, you had, they were all of a sudden emergency time. There was, they're kind of like the, I don't know.
um,
Yeah,
yeah,
go
the
ahead.
white base was it
What
was
class was it?
specifically designed to house um the RX-70 series, which is the Gundam series. There was the 1, 2, and 3. Uh, I think two of them got destroyed. RX-72, which is one that Amuro pilots, that one survived. He had a single gun tank and a single gun cannon survive, and they were supposed to house like quite a few of those. Unfortunately, the attack on Site 7 destroyed them, so that's why you get the set of 3 coming out. So it was literally it's essentially especially designed for those platforms. It was pretty much an assault carrier. Essentially, that's what it is. It's a smaller Federation forces carrier that was designed to house and launch those mobile suits. And Mont Calamari ships, like the Admiral Akbar, his space, his race, designed very, very like bubbly, kind of big, like good. It was a good platform. Not as intimidating as the Imperial class Star Destroyers, but it was a good. It housed a couple squadrons. It was decent, and it had a lot of turbo cannon fire throughout, like through 360 of it. So it was no inherently big cannons, unlike the White Base. The White Base actually has missile pods, machine gun fire, and particle beam cannons. So
yeah, it's pretty well outfitted to defend against mobile suits attacking it.
Yeah. So Star Wars, the Rebel Alliance doctrine was very much like hit and run kind of tactics. There was no like big ship to ship, capital ship to ship kind of battling. They might take out like a small corvette or something else of similar size, but yeah.
Like, as Loki and EVN like to call it, the nipple cannon, and many others, like you had some of those base to space, like, ground to space ship sort of anti-ship sort of blasters and cannons, but like you said, they had little guns here and there. But like, did you ever play the game TIE Fighter back
yeah,
in the
I love that game.
X-Wing.
X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, or X-Wing or TIE Fighter. They had like a set of 3 games. It was great.
Because TIE Fighter, you could do what you wanted, and there were little guns in the ships. I remember X-Wing, though, when you were X-Wing 2, you had like a flight path that it forced you on, and then you had to eventually kill all the guns and all the different like little guns off the destroyers and stuff. So they had little things, like you said, but nothing major to what other than
Well, it's kind of hard because it's all it's all fiction, science fiction. And what do you do with fiction? Well, you try to associate with reality and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, like Star Trek, like all the different colored jerseys. That's literally the what people do on aircraft carriers. You know what I mean?
I mean, they based it on some.
Yeah, missile tubes and all that crazy stuff that you put on like different ships. Well, you do that same thing on a PT boat. It's literally for just torpedoes and such, or just rocket pods on top of like literally just wings that don't do anything but house the rocket pods. You know what I mean? And guess what's on that? A gunship, aka a helicopter, attack helicopter. And so you find things like that on the in your kind of space war / science fiction war kind of platforms, which is pretty neat. All right, but before we get cracking, we're going to talk about. Let's see. It's a lot better. I can do stuff without having to use my offhand. All right, who should we talk about first, Amuro or Luke?
Which came first? Luke by a year?
Yeah, Luke came first, so we're gonna share Mr.
He didn't
Luke.
He didn't shoot first.
Luke Skywalker. No, that was Han Solo.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Luke Skywalker. So he's a renowned, force-sensitive human male who helps defeat the Galactic Empire, the Galactic Civil War, and helped found a new republic in the Jedi Order. Okay, it's very nice. And it's just talking about all his stuff. All right, so he's human. He is force sensitive. He's a Jedi. Let's see how big he is. Let's see. It says in meters. I don't know how much that is in.
Yeah, I don't want a Canadian's version of this. I want. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
British.
That's okay. That's all right. All right. So affiliations.
To answer someone and David Glenn's follow up, I would say if Luke was weak sauce, it would definitely be wine sauce.
Yeah.
There's moments where I do believe that Luke kind of emanates some of that whiny, even trope in anime protagonist, especially when it's like,
oh my god, I'm gonna defend my boy Luke, but I'm not gonna defend him by boosting up his non-whininess because he is whiny.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I'm not saying he doesn't have
Amuro is also whiny.
I know, which makes these.
You have to understand, both these guys, they are like they're not even old enough to vote yet.
They're reluctant heroes.
Yeah, they're reluctant heroes. One's 17, and one is 16, turning 17 throughout the 1 year war.
We can keep talking about Luke for now and get to Amuro in a minute.
Yeah.
I
think Luke was 7. Was he 17?
He's shoot one breath bound.
Born in he's 19. So he's 19. The Battle of Yavin. That's the BBY's Battle of Yavin. So, are you all right?
I'm just laughing at awesome one in the comments.
Luke is weak sauce. Wine or all Cripsiles. Oh my god, yeah, he doesn't glow up until he kisses his sister. Oh my lord.
Well, that's anime tropes right there. Dang it. Luke is way more anime than I ever gave him credit for. Okay.
The only brother and sister we get from Gundam is Char and Sayla, and they don't kiss. Nope.
No.
There's no kissing there. No, sir.
Of course, Hathaway gets the hots for
yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a different issue though.
Okay. So yeah, Luke has he's got good abilities. He can sense the force and he has good aim, right? Because he can use the force, his newfounded force powers, to pretty much bullseye a womp rat, right?
Yep.
Yeah, before he even knew that he had the force, he could do that. And then he uses the force and doesn't need a targeting computer. He just uses the force and shoots a perfect shot and blows up the Death Star. One that the leader of the Red Squadron couldn't even do. So that is saying something on his piloting skills. He was able to take out some kind of not really any turbo lasers or anything like that. Like the X-Wings, they don't really destroy anything. You know what I mean? Except for the TIE fighters. That's it. So what do you think on Luke? Do you have anything else to add?
I mean, he's like I said, he's that young. He's a little bit cocky, but not at times. But like I said, he's a little bit whiny. So he's definitely just the reluctant, which puts them both well together. They both have daddy issues, which they kind of as they go through for different.
They do have daddy issues, don't they?
Yeah, at least it's not as. I still think Luke's daddy issues, and I know we're not talking about Evangelion, but even at some point, maybe we just need to talk about all three of these guys together. But Shinji has major daddy issues, but his dad is just in the picture and just really weird and depressing.
Yeah.
Which I think is worse than Luke, because Luke at least, has to process some things, but according to him, his dad was dead anyway, right? Mm-hmm.
I guess so. All right, so we're gonna look up on the X-Wing platform. The X-Wing Starfighter, which is a type of let's get that out of the way. Starfighter that marked by their distinctive S-foils. I'm never sure what S-foils meant. It's just starfoil? I don't know what S-foil is. yeah. Configure your S-foils into attack position.
I don't know
high
much
galactic
about S-foils.
Yeah, I don't know yet. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they thought like a moving platform on a flying thing was interesting and cool. Kind of like how like ships on board, they'll fold up their wings so they can stow them like all compact. You know what I mean?
Like Spike in Bebop.
Yeah, like Spike's ship. That one's just for like stowing his aircraft or his spacecraft. The X-Wing is it does it like in mid-flight to like
change modes.
Yeah, change modes. Much to the kin of the what you call it, the Tomcat. The Tomcat like kind of folds its wings back when it's going faster. So it's like takeoff mode and flight mode. So the T-65C A2 X-Wing, the Battle of Lothal, the Battle of Yavin, Battle of Endor, and the Battle of Jakku. Those are pretty much the battles that actually mean anything. I don't know.
Cool. No, they talk about it, but I can't remember which one it is.
The Battle of Jakku is I'm on Legend, so we're not talking about Ray. We're not talking about like Jakku is the battle that on the Admiral Sloan and all those guys. That was pretty much the Empire's version of like the Running Bull. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Colonel Custard, and that was essentially kind of that, or the Battle of Gettysburg kind of. I guess it'd be more akin to that, I guess. But even though Endor is more, but it's hard because sometimes the good thing about fiction is that you can join parallels, but you don't want to just rewrite or rename historically events. You want to like catch a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Well, the best sci-fi, the best sci-fi is not this current age 1-to-1 ratio that the Federation was started because of January 6th, which is a weird way of giving somebody in real life the genesis of canon, the origin of a wonderfully inspired science fiction that was never a 1-to-1 ratio, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you can do it, but a lot of times it's not held off too well. Like the Book of Boba Fett doing the exact same story as Lawrence in Arabia with the Sand People. Yeah, that was funny. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's look up our boy Amuro. Share this tab instead. All right, here's Amuro. Okay, so Amuro, he is known as the White Devil, the White Shooting Star, the White Unicorn, which is actually his signal. He is a human. I don't know if there's any like crazy aliens in Gundam, but
I mean he's a Newtype though.
He is a Newtype. That's his classification. Is his Newtype. So he's he's a human with special abilities.
That's like Luke.
Yeah, it's like Luke. Yeah, Yeah, he's pretty strong in the new type abilities, but he's not like Lala. Lala is like insanely big. But she has like foresight and all that stuff. It's crazy. All right, and yeah, Temray is dead. Got father issues. Nationality, he is an Earth Federation, Site 7. So that is a space colony that he lives on, with that's not attached to any Xeonic affiliation. It is a Earth Federation colony. And I'm using the year one war version of him. Let's see. All right, so throughout the 1 year war, Amuro has mental stress and his growing new type abilities. So essentially, he's going through like superhuman puberty, which is a weird way of saying that. I guess Luke does too, right? Especially when he's with Yoda. Ah,
say what?
I like you, Luke and Amuro. They both go kind of through like a stage of like kind of like a second form of like puberty. You know what I mean? But with like special abilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's hard to explain, but it's kind of an interesting way of thinking about it, right? So yes, he's which he does kill Lala Shun, which he feels really bad about, as he should.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, abilities and skills. Here we go. All right, Amuro, he's a knack for mechanics. So does Luke. Luke can build things.
True. I mean, he did finish off those droids.
Yeah, finish up the droids. He fixes water, moisture farm equipment. Amuro does. He builds his little droid called Haro. Haro.
The origins of Haro, who shows up everywhere.
Yep, pretty much. And he pretty much stumbles upon and pilots like the first like mobile suit that he sees, which happens to be the most advanced RX-78 2. There's 3 of them. This is the second one, and pronounced as the Gundam. He faces quite a few Zaku's, just learning on the fly, just learning as you go. He's just like thumbing through the pilot manual. He destroys 2 Zaku's and pretty much fends off the ace rival, which is Char Asimarbol and Rumba Rao.
That's right. Ramba Rao was there in the beginning. The lore of Ramba Rao is something its own conversation.
Yeah, oh my god, he's an unsung hero that's just like I wish he didn't blow himself up, because he could have had like the best story of like all time. You know what I mean? But
well, he's not the one who blew up the goof, right? It was the other guy.
Yeah, it was other guys, and he was just.
Did Ramba Rao blow himself up?
Yes. Yeah, he did. I guess he was trying to. There's too much like. Yeah, it's a lot of interesting politics stuff, and he was in command, but he was a low-ranking commander. You know what I mean? It's just
right.
A lot of crazy, silly. He should have got his DOMs though. Oh well.
Well, yeah.
All right, so let's click on the ship that I'm putting him in.
Okay.
Which is the RX-72, the Gundam. Here is the Gundam, the White Devil, as they say. All right. So this is, it's piloted by Gundam. All right. Any schematics? Wow, a lot of people have piloted him. Okay, here it is. The head height. This is just is it the height all the way to the head from the ground? 18 meters. That's pretty big.
Yeah, it's like 3 stories tall.
Yeah.
Because they're not,
Uh,
well, yeah, 3 or 4
yeah.
stories tall.
Yeah. So max weight. This is it fully like stocked up, like fully armed. Missiles and like side armaments on it is 60 tons,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty good. That's quite a bit too. Um, uh, so it's straight up in like friggin' like sprint mode is 34, almost under 34 metric tons, which is pretty good. All right, power plants is a Minovsky ultra compactor fusion reactor.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's very spicy.
Mm-hmm.
This uses
Isn't Minovsky based off as the name of somebody that actually was either artist or creator of Gundam?
I think so. It's Minovsky particles are the things that that kind of like separate and make it harder to like receive and interrupt communications and whatnot.
Basically, that's why they had to build mobile suits instead of using nukes,
Yeah.
because they dispersed the Minovsky particles in the air to make it much harder. Although you will see what eventually in UC time and other stuff, the like in Unicorn, and
Yeah.
you'll see them using the nukes.
Yeah, the stats on this are better than the X-wing, I swear.
Well, yeah,
they just give a lot better stuff. It's like, which is it's a shame because X-wing should have a lot more. I don't know. It's
well,
the Wikipedia, I guess.
well, the
People
X-wing also is smaller and lighter for maneuverability. So,
yeah.
like,
No, I'm just saying the information, like the general
oh,
characteristics
yeah,
and all that stuff. I'm reading right here. You know,
somebody cares more
like the
about
sensor
Gundams.
range,
Mm-hmm.
like especially in like if you're like fighting like fighter to fighter or whatnot, like the first person who sees is the first person who kills. You know what I mean? If you get seen first, you get killed
Yeah,
first, kind of thing.
see
Especially
something,
when
do
you're firing
something.
missiles.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, there is a core fighter system. It's the FF X7 core fighter. Because all of those 3 platforms that are built for the to go inside the white base, which is the gun cannon, the gun tank, and the Gundam. They all have core fighter system, block core systems. So, which pretty much it pops out pretty much a small snub fighter. All right, it's armored by a Luna titanium, so it's pretty much titanium from the moon.
I am titanium.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh wow. It even has the 180 turn time. It's 1.5 seconds.
Okay.
Which
is this in
so
space or is this on the ground? Because I know in space they have a lot more mobility, but when they're on the ground they have to, like, in gravity they have to readjust all the stuff. Like, I know seed is frowned upon, but you see in seed where they really have to adjust and learn the math.
Like turn time that's like on turrets and stuff like that, on tanks. So you know, like it's pretty much goes as fast as a Bradley turret almost. Pretty much. Standard armaments. So let's see. It's got a fixed 260 millimeter Vulcan cannons.
Yep.
Holy Christ! I didn't know how big those guns are.
Well, that's those in the head. Like, most of the Gundams have those Vulcan cannons on the temples, and they get overlooked, but they're actually pretty dang powerful.
Oh my God! 1 second, I gotta look up something real quick.
Well, then if you're gonna look that up, I'm gonna address the chat for a second.
Yeah.
Let's see. David Glenn has special abilities like being able to balance a checkbook. I don't know. They were young. I don't know if they'd taken home ec yet. Obviously, Amuro was inside, in the space colony, and then, well, Luke, he was kind of a little, moisture farmer. So I don't really know how deep his education went. Let's see. Amuro, is Amuro DNA child or a clone? He is a DNA child, I believe, right? Amuro is not a clone.
Yeah.
There are clones. I mean, obviously we talk about Char clones, but there are like the Red Comet, things are what's the second coming of Char in Unicorn?
Okay. Benager.
Menager. And so
Oh,
is
wait, the second coming of Char?
Yeah.
You say, oh, okay. Benager is the good guy.
Right.
Full Frontal is the bad guy.
Yeah, Full Frontal may or may not be a clone. And even in Seed, they talk about how certain people are clones of somebody else. And so there's definitely loose lore and kind of not necessarily explained of who's a clone of somebody great, even in Gundam. Like some of the fake Newtypes are test tube babies, right? In Seed.
Yeah.
Let's see. Awesome One also addresses the very oddity that strange how every advanced Gundam is easily stolen, but I would say most of it happens at the first episode where it's not heavily armored because they're not supposed to be building Gundam, so it's like on the scientific or quote peaceful, so they don't have all the armaments at the ready to protect it, because otherwise it would be a red flag.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that a kid always gets it.
Okay. So when I was doing some quick research, because I was just like, gotta make sure it's like double good, because I was pretty sure that the A10 Warthog, the A10 Warthog, right?
Yeah.
That has a 30 millimeter Gatling gun, right?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, 30 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
60 millimeter is self-loading, like on tanks, not on any ships or anything like that, like on tanks or like the big gunships, like they'll shoot off the side of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so having 60 millimeter on a Vulcan cannon, that's huge. That's like, that's light artillery.
Yeah.
On a Vulcan gun. Holy bananas! Is that terrifying? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't think it's 60 millimeter. I'm pretty sure it's scary if it's 30, but that's 60. What? Two of them? What?
Yeah.
Holy bananas! But that's what it says. I'm not gonna say. And then it's got two whole bunch of letters and numbers, 79-07G beam rifle. That's the standard beam rifle it gets. And then it gets the RX, blah 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 blah, the shield, just a generic Gundam shield. And it has two beam sabers or beam javelins. Either equipped on either way. So that is that is pretty scary machine. And do I have any more schematics on the X-Wing? I don't see any schematics on the X-Wing, which is unfortunate, but that's okay, I guess. I guess it's just like proton torpedoes and 4 like laser cannons. Essentially, that's what it has, which is not bad. Which is not a bad thing for have just a basic fighter.
One of the things I learned when I played MechWarrior 2 as a child, that when you have the beam and energy stuff, even though it takes a minute to recharge, as opposed to something that has a finite amount of rounds, like You realize how quickly you can go through rounds.
Mm. Mm. That's true. That's true. All right. Here.
The rebels
All right,
have a
that's just
limited budget. That's funny.
yeah, yeah. Let me take a swig of some. So, is a fan fiction face off, right?
Yeah.
So that means I need to read out the fan fiction,
Mhm.
which it is what it is. I'm so nervous. This is my writing. That's shitty. You have to hear my shitty fan fiction, everyone. And we're only 36 minutes in. All right. Gotta get all the voices down and everything. All right. Our story starts off in the deep void of space, an uncharted region of space where multiple dimensions phase in and out. Many who've come across this has coined it the unfamiliar fantasy section. Here we find the Earth Federation Forces ship, known as the White Base, traversing through in pursuits of a Xeon craft, which they wish to capture. Bright Noah, the captain of the White Base, is reading from information on his command post as the ship gets hit by an unfamiliar shake of turbulence and thrashes the ship around. The crew recover. Bright says, "Sailor, what's happened?" Sailor, recovering from the shake-up, brings up her display, inputting all the monitoring systems. "Sir, and a high priority target has disappeared," she reports. "How is that possible?" Bright asks, in a shocked and confused manner. "Sir, our sensors are picking up a new capital ship just off our starboard side," another crewman reports. "Is it a Musai?" "Unknown, sir. The design and the markings are definitely not Federation forces." "Bring it up on the main screen." A large monitor displays the Mon Calamari ship, which, as the readers may recognize it as, the Home One. The Home One is the flagship of the Rebel Alliance, and at this time is the current home of the famous Rogue Squadron and its leader and hero of the Battle of Yavin, Luke Skywalker. On the bridge, Admiral Akbar and the rest of the command staff scramble and discover a newly emerged threat. "Admiral, the enemy carrier has just came up on our sensors, coming out of hyperspace," a bridge officer says. "What? Launch the alert fighters." Down in the hangar bay, Luke and R2-D2, his astromech, were tuning up his X-Wing starfighter. As a new pilot from Rogue Squadron, Mickey Trash Cluster, sorry, little Disney shade right there, sorry, was asking Luke all about his heroic deeds as he was standing by in his X-Wing on alert. When the ship's alarms come off, the command to launch sounded, and Mickey and his A-Wing left the hangar to engage the enemy. Back on the white base, Bright notices a ship closing in a blinding speed, firing its laser cannons. The damage was slowly starting to cripple the white base, but the ship was lined up perfectly with the A-Wing. With an unknown hostile in its crosshair, the white base opens fire, dispersing its particle cannons. The small fighter was completely eviscerated, and the particle beam continued on, indirectly damaging the stern side of the Home 1 hangar decks. Damage report, Akbar requested. 85% of our fighters are gone. How can a ship that size have so much firepower? On the communication, a familiar voice comes in. This is Rogue One, moving out. A lone X-Wing leaves the hangar bay. Roger that, Rogue Leader, and may the Force be with you. With the cannons freshly fired, the white base fences were running low. With limited machine gun ammo and 0 missiles in stow, Bright switches his communicator. Amuro, is the Gundam ready to deploy? Amuro replies. The Gundam is ready to go, but the gun cannon and the gun tank still need to rearm. Never mind that. Launch the Gundam at once. With that, Amuro leaves in a short time frame. The RX-78 was catapulted out to engage. Luke was surprised to see a non-Type platform vehicle heading his way. What kind of fighter is that? R2, tell me if you can point out any weak points on that devil-looking ship. R2 bleeps back. I'm searching in his tone of a droid speak. The X-Wing, with Luke ace-like piloting skills, managed to tail the Gundam, firing its lasers. The laser fire affect the Gundam little, but if Amuro doesn't break free, he won't last very long. Luke Skywalker fires a proton torpedo in hopes to destroy the Gundam finally. Amuro brings up a U-turn and raises his shield, deflecting the torpedo, exploding, scattered explosion off to the left. With that, he fires his beam rifle, which directly hits R2 and exploding the poor astromech. With the beam rifle empty, Amuro takes out his beam saber. Luke's eyes widen. He says, how does a ship have a lightsaber? With the X-Wing coming at full speed and the Gundam preparing to slice, the Gundam cuts the X-Wing in half. KO. And that's it. Yay! That's a little nerve-wracking. Woo!
You powered through it.
I did power through it. Yay, dyslexia. Oh, my goodness, it's tough, especially to read out loud, which I was never good at. And I'm a terrible writer. Well, I'm out of practice.
Let's just say out of practice. I don't think you're terrible.
I'll just say I'm out of practice. So I practiced both of that and And maybe other people will want to join in too. I don't know. Do you have anything written down, Punk Waddle?
I do not have anything written down. I wasn't. I mean, I heard you kind of leaning toward the ship thing last week, but I didn't really know that's what you wanted to focus on. I mean,
it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I know. Like,
I barely able to squeak this out, man. I was barely able to squeak. This is a rough draft.
Still,
yeah.
Oh, see, David Glenn says you're better than a headache.
I'm better than lesbian headache. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what Gator calls Leslie Headland.
Exactly. Like, I want a fan fiction where Amuro, comes at Luke with the Gundam, pulls out the beam saber,
Yep.
or Luke pulls out the lightsaber, then Amuro brings out the beam saber, and then he says something about my Schwartz is bigger, and then somewhere from beyond, Rita Repulsa, or Zed throws down one of those Invigorizer, and then gets Luke the size of about the size of the Gundam, and then they start having a lightsaber versus beam saber fight, which would be quite entertaining.
Yeah. That's right, Snowdub. It is story time. It is a fan fiction read off, kind of, sort of. Well, it's not really a read off. It's just me reading one, and then maybe someone else that I invite might have another one. But this is the first show, so it's a custom that I at least read what I wrote, so I can do it, and other people might follow if they want.
Yeah,
if they want.
And like I said, like if we can convince people like DJ Ronnie G to show up, because like everybody has their own way of telling stories, so it doesn't have to be the exact same way, but to depict the story, to depict the interactions.
Yeah,
it's fun to allow people to have the creativity to, just like you said, work on their own storytelling, work on their own creativity, because this is more fun, and we don't expect to make films or get paid for it, right? But this is a fun exercise to keep the mind sharp. And
it's a good practice, the narration skills and all that other stuff. It's good to get us nice and fresh, and good for writing and whatnot, So what did you think of the story? I was real trying to like set them up for the fight, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to do like Elseworlds, like fight against each other kind of thing, but you need to set it up good.
Yeah, I think you did a pretty good job of trying to set the stage, set the tone, set the mood. I mean,
especially if you're fighting two like good guys, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and this is a narrative story. It's not just like what was it? The Screw Attack guys. They always just like pit each other, and they're like fighting for no reason. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
Oh, okay,
Who would win in a fight? Well, I don't know, but you're right. Why would they fight? Well, give me an instance when because it's all like situational. Like,
yeah, I could have easily made Luke Skywalker win this fight easily. Dealt with the 60 millimeter Vulcan cannons on its head. I don't. It's ridiculous. Oh man,
they come in pretty handy.
Yeah, I could have just like look this way.
I feel like I do feel like there's a few times where the Vulcan cannons are utilized early on in the RX-78, and then some of the other subsequent series you'll see them. Seems like even Wing has the Vulcans, and I think he uses it like once.
Yeah, well, it's that might be like if he uses it once, that makes sense because he doesn't really have a crew to like reload. You know what I mean?
Right, but they don't often showcase it even in like it's not the fancy showy weapons for the TV series or the movies. But every now and then they pop up or they show up and you're like, "Oh, I forgot those existed."
Yeah, right. Yeah. This is there's not a lot of like air fighters just coming in and just like cuz I would take out air fighters with those things all the time. Just looking it'd be pretty much like the same system that the helicopters have, like the Apaches, they just like look and shoot.
Yeah.
I'd have the same thing with that because it's literally the same. It should be the same thing for the Gundams, right? Because it's literally you looking around. It's a head.
Yeah.
And it's just like whatever you see, whatever in your line of sight, should be right in the crosshairs and should aim perfectly because that's how. Because they're right next to the temple, the Vulcan cannons. I'm pretty sure. Usually they are.
Mm-hmm.
At least not if not there, it's on the side of the cheeks on some certain models too. So it's the head cannon. it's a different meaning of head cannon. Yep. Yeah. So I think I set up the kind of like I gave up this like new region where like it's just like different like franchises can meet, you know what I mean? It's like the fantasy the fantasy fiction sector. You know. So that's pretty good. That's pretty. So any other fancy notes that you wanna any?
Trying to think. I mean, this one's pretty simple one. Like I said, there's two very. I mean, I think the other thing that can be said that we kind of said last week is these are interesting, even IPs, you know, franchises to pit against each other because really, like, you know, one was in, you know, 798, like they existed at the same time. They were created and born into existence in the same time in the same era of, you know, space, the final frontier, all this like sci-fi stuff. And you know, in America it was the wizards in space, and in Japan it was all the kaiju and the silly monsters, and all of a sudden you get I guess they're far enough removed from the real life events that they delved into a more who's good, who's bad, using animation to show the harsher truths of war and that people get thrust in. Because if you think about the gravity of Gundam, there's a lot more to it than just.
Yeah, it's more of a deeper story.
Yeah.
But then again, it's a whole series. You know, they have more to tell. They have more time to tell.
I mean, the EU eventually got so big and so, but it's still more of a fantasy, not a.
Yeah, all the cartoons that came out for Star Wars were all kid like.
Right.
The books and other stuff that was very much for the adults, but apart from that, you know.
Well, cartoons are to sell toys, which let's just say the Gundam did that pretty good well too, because they still have Gundam World Builders, right?
Yeah.
Gunpla Builders Cups.
Oh, I love that game. GB4, man. I am so happy, and I have my Zaku, my Psycho Zaku, and it is just getting. It's just different like missile, bazooka, different type of bazooka, machine gun, another bazooka, rockets, missiles, repeat. I just have that platform. I'm just like, oh, it's just cycle. It's just like every once in a while, I was like, oh wait, I have melee weapons too. Bazooka. I'm just like, hey, this is why I like this mobile suit. Yeah. Oh yeah. That game is so fun. We need to play. We need to play once you find it. If you find it.
I know. Well, hopefully I will. Like,
if not, I'll gift it to you.
Well, here's the I should be around here, but like I said, I'm kind of going through a little bit of a revamp upheaval. Hopefully we'll get the contractors in to start working on the bathroom soon. So I'll probably be able to figure out how to go on stream to be a puppet by Saturday. I don't know.
That's good.
Like some of the stuff lately haven't been showing up during the weekdays and stuff. And some of us just have had other stuff going on and trying to deal with some things, honestly.
Yeah, preaching to the choir, brother. Preaching to the choir. Oh.
So I'm not,
Yeah, no, but thanks for coming on so early. My goodness.
Well, I knew you weren't just nipping and nagging, so I didn't want to leave you hanging.
Yeah. That was good. That was good. No, this was actually pretty fun. It was a little nerve wracking, but I felt good telling the story. My goodness, I can't wait for the next one. Um,
Any thoughts on what that might be? Are we there yet?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. All right, chat. This is the suggestion time. All 5 people. Not very big. Not a big chat today, so they're probably going on all the other crazy people's. I know the Geeks and Gamers got their main show, and then we got like Loki's got a show, and we got a whole bunch of other guys got good shows. But
I think
if anyone has any good suggestions, what's hot and new, we can kind of delve onto that. Now people are talking about the Thunderbolts. I don't want to touch that just because I don't really know too much about Thunderbolts. You know what I mean? Unless it's the Thunderbolt Gundam. That's
yeah.
that is I've said it many times. It's my favorite manga slash the Star Wars. Yes, that's right, Marcus Felix.
Well, it's like how I put earlier in the chat at 8:44 p.m. So to be fair, this is Snack's favorite versus Gator's favorite in regards to IPs, right?
that's pretty true. That is pretty true.
Your internal dialogue
versus the
Star Wars.
If Gator wrote it, he would have made Luke the hero.
It's true.
Victor.
It's true. But we don't need a Smeagol moment.
No. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for November to come because the last volume of Gundam Thunderbolt is gonna come. Nice. In English print, and I'm going to have it sent to me from Amazon to my house, and we are going to read it because awesome. Yes.
As well, you should.
As well, I should. I have to finish the story. It's so good too. It's so good. I was like, I'm still. They still like the current spoilers if you're ever gonna watch it, but like, I mean, like they have Big Zam just like lugging the freaking the solar cannon to freaking blow up the moon. Sort of. I think.
Sort of.
Yeah. Well, they have a big issue with the Anaheim company and all that stuff, and it's well written. It's very well written. I mean, you've seen the 2 movies, right?
Yeah.
Wait, 2 movies are amazing.
Yeah. It's been a couple of years since I've watched those movies, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because there was a time where Gundam Info had all of it on free.
Yeah.
The
manga's still good. The manga is so good. It's like even better. Like it leaves off at volume 7 of the manga. The movies do, and once you go into the volume 8 and 9 and 10, you're just like, holy crap, we're not even like halfway there, and it's so good. And now I'm on like volume like 20. Was it 24? I forgot what it was. 23 or 24. So like the last one's gonna come out, and I'm like, yes. It's not a crazy long one either. It's not bad, and they're big books, and the artistry is amazing.
I've definitely seen them. I've seen the books.
It's so beautiful. The line art is like, it's not super detailed, but it's detailed to the point where it's like, oh, that's pretty. You know what I mean? It's like got all the right strokes.
Yeah.
So okay, let's see what else we can do for the. I don't think. Well done. What's the next mashup? I don't know. Awesome one. Do you have any suggestions? I do like suggestions. The Penguin? You know what? The Penguin series.
I need to watch that, but I don't know if we have HBO.
Oh, I have some HBO because I was watching something else that I needed HBO for, and there's like, I was like, oh, they have all this other DC stuff. I'll watch all this other stuff. I think that's how I watched Isekai. What you call it? Suicide Squad Isekai. That was good. That was a good anime.
Okay.
It wasn't bad.
I know there's a few people that, like in Brandon's chat, said it was pretty good.
I don't know if I'll do that one. I don't know if I'll do that one.
I don't know if we're ready for that.
No, that's
I appreciate the feedback, though.
it's fan fiction, not yeah. Fictional characters, please.
All right. We're getting into caveat territory, but I guess it's necessary.
We're not doing anything like that. We're not doing any fictions about the big H man. Or the guy with the big mustache, or the guy who wears the funny suits, or anything like that. Let's see. Penguin, and what's another good mob boss, kind of like worker boss guy in fiction?
All right. Mob bosses.
Someone's getting out with some pretty good ones. Marie Antoinette versus the Headless Horseman.
Okay.
That's another good one, but I'm not gonna do that one. It's no historical figures, please.
Yeah.
We're not rap battles of history. You don't do. Darth Vader versus Hitler. They did that one 3 times too. Oh God.
Now I'm looking through animated characters mob boss.
Yeah, that's a good one. We'll do DC versus
what's thinking either Marvel or anime. There's got to be somebody.
Yeah, it's got to be somebody. Let's see what we could do.
Sometimes I pull up Joker, but I wouldn't say he's a mob boss. Like he kind of does that, but he doesn't really.
And he's DC. He kind of fits in the world, so it's not much of a fan fiction
right.
Matchup.
But I would say Penguin falls better into the kind of the henchman sort of thing, because he needs a group as opposed to.
Yeah. But we need kind of a boss guy, and then
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got Kingpin.
Oh yeah, there's Kingpin.
Let's see. I wouldn't call Osborn. He's something else.
The Mask versus the Joker. That's a good one.
True.
Powerpuff Girls versus the Spurs.
I do think. Yeah, I think Fisk versus
Kingpin versus the Penguin. Okay.
That could be good.
That does sound pretty good.
I think we need like a Dropbox for ideas.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be good. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we got
stick look.
Yeah, we got two big fat white men with their power.
Something everyone can love, right?
I know, right? It's white man versus white man.
Well, it's probably safer that way.
Probably safer that way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going with the J.J. Abrams version. Not yet.
No. Oh yeah. Yeah. Thunder, the Barbarian versus He-Man. We should do a Barbarian one. We should do a Barbarian one at some point.
The Conan, He-Man.
Yeah, Conan. Conan versus He-Man. That's a good one.
I mean, there's definitely more Barbarian options.
Yeah, we're definitely saving He-Man versus Conan.
Awesome one. We're not trying to talk about real people. Although, if you did Dennis Rodman marrying himself versus that chick who just married herself, I mean, who had the better wedding? That's not fan fiction, though.
Awesome. He does bring out the good ones, though, even though some of them might be a little. Don't publish that on print on YouTube or. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right.
All
right. So I think it's Fisk versus Cobblepot.
Right.
Marvel Kingpin versus DC Batman. Penguin. DC Penguin. Yeah. Versus
Nope. Well, okay, so there's
we ain't touching that.
Not with a
not with
even with
any kind
Olympic...
of stick, with any kind of lube. I swear.
Yeah, I'm not jumping into that. No matter if it's Olympic size pool of
Olympic size amount of lube in that pool. Oh god.
Yeah. I promise I can swim faster than the baby.
I was never a Diddy fan. I always never understood why he was famous, but like I get he was a singer or something like that. I don't know, but
at some point he had songs in the 90s, and then he kind of became a producer, and then he kind of just became this pop culture icon, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Never quite understood why he was still in the public, in the limelight, and famous when it didn't seem like he did anything in front of the scenes for a while. But now we know he was doing things.
And it's the people that kind of seem like they're wholesome, but not really.
Nah, there were stories.
Stories.
Without getting too much into it, I know David Glenn and a few other people have mentioned.
There's probably a lot of people from that time that have some not so good stories.
Well, I remember in the 90s.
I wonder when Snoop Dogg's gonna get called out for some crazy stuff. That would be surprising.
Jay-Z got away with the stuff he did.
Jay-Z, yeah.
Everybody knows, and he's not. He also isn't trying to cover it up either. I don't think. They just don't talk about it and they move on.
Yeah, they're like, well, Suge Knight was worse, and they're like, yeah, I guess he was. Okay, we'll give you the pass.
It's the whole thing about allegedly having everything on tape that kind of puts you at a bigger.
Yeah, right.
Documented evidence can work both ways.
Oh yeah, ain't that the truth?
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, there were some kids in high school, and this is back before cell phones, but they had a camcorder and they filmed themselves doing something stupid, and that film got leaked to the local news, and that's how got leaked, and they were bragging about it, and the cops got it, and the local news got it, and it's like, yep, and they've been arrested for it. Like,
yep. Yeah, that's hell yeah. F up.
Well, you give everybody a camera and they're
that's why criminals and cops don't like video cameras.
Yeah, I mean, well, without getting to that, but it's like if you're gonna do something, right?
Yeah.
No, you don't create more evidence.
Yeah, no.
I mean, let me say this. And I'm not giving anybody advice. I'm not telling anybody what to do. YouTube, whatever, you know. I'm just saying if your intention is to get away with something, the more logical idea would to create less evidence therein. That's all I'm saying, right? But
There
you
we
do
go.
you.
Okay. Well, on that note, we are doing two criminals. Kingpin, what's his name? Fisk, versus Cobblepot, aka the Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to put a bonus criminal in there, that's fine.
Yeah, you can have peripheral henchmen and stuff in the story that would just part of the storytelling, obviously.
Yeah.
Might score some points.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That sounds good. That does sound good.
Wait, is this an origin story or is this okay, just kidding.
It's a whatever story you want to do it.
I was talking about me as the iteration when I was my avatar was a Lego penguin that was borrowed from the Batman movie Penguin Mobile.
Nice.
There's a little henchman there that I turned into my.
Oh, you are a penguin. You would know the penguin.
Yeah. I mean,
yep.
I need to watch the movie
or the HBO show or whatever. It's good. I'm liking it. I kind of want another show to come out soon. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But on that note, we got those two. Those are coming up next, and I'll announce it. I'll announce it tomorrow, so everyone else can possibly write it, and just DM me. I don't know. I'm not sure if my DMs are open, but just let me know, and if you want to pop on and read it. If not, I'll just read it. I'll read another one all by myself again. The one thing, writing fan fiction is fun. Reading it is nerve-wracking, terrifying, but also fun.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what we are talking about. All right. On that note, I guess.
Oh, what happened, Freddy?
Gator! What happened? Gator! Wake up! Wake up, Gator! Oh, buddy! This is the end of the con! We gotta go home!